Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get started here, and there's two kind of lessons that I want to pepper in that are things that you might not notice somebody doing with a horse right off the bat, but if you utilize these two skills, your horse is apt to make more progress and make everything just make a little more sense to them, make it a little easier. So the two things that I'm talking about are utilizing a pattern. So creating a pattern with whatever it is you want to do. So and then the other one is using energy. Okay, so we're gonna break these down into two parts. So the first lesson about utilizing a pattern. So let's say I want to get him used to me waving and touching him and just a little more exposure there. Can you guys see that he could still use a little more work there? What most people would tend to do is go, oh, he needs work with that, so I'm going to stand in front of him and I'm going to wave and he's going to get comfortable with it. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Like, that's what you do. That's one way to do it. And sometimes that's where you got to start. But if you can get to the point where you're teaching them to get sweet on that position, they're going to seek that even more. Okay? So here's one example of how I might make him a little more sweet on that position. I might walk back here and bring my life up. So here's kind of two lessons in one. Life up, life up, life up. Now, you can see I got him all fired up for doing this by bringing my life up. But he needs to understand he's not in trouble. I'm just asking him to yield. Now there, he finally kind of thought about me yielding. And now I'll switch back to this. So I'll stand here waving, petting. But I need to find some moment to release on. There's my moment to release. There we go. Now I'll do it again. Life up. Drive them, drive them, drive them. And it doesn't really matter. I'm choosing to yield the hindquarters because it's a really simple one. Really easy for you guys to see. Now, part of me yielding the hindquarters, you see how much calmer he is in this hindquarter yield in that first one? Where I was doing the same thing I'm doing now, but he thought that meant move his hindquarters around really, really fast. And then he kind of scared himself as he was doing it. Now I can go back to this. Now the other thing I'm not doing is I'm not backing off on the pressure. I'm not like choosing to retreat to make it a little easier for him. I'm trying to pick a level that is slightly challenging for him. And that is the key. That is one of the important aspects, is that you pick an achievable level of pressure that challenges them a little bit, but not more than what you can handle, right? That's kind of the balance, okay? Then I'm going to go back, yield in the hindquarters. We'll go back to this. Life up. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You can see he's getting more relaxed in the hindquarter yield. Life down. Energy rubbing. So that's one thing that we are going to run into time and time again with these horses that are pretty wild still, is they didn't read our energy, and so something else startled them, right? And this is not something that happens overnight, okay? This is something that takes time to develop. So a lot of people are told, if you're calm, your horse will be calm, right? Wouldn't that be nice if it was that easy, right? If you're calm, then that equals your horse being calm. That's not the way it works. You have to teach your horse that when you're calm, they should also be calm. Does that make sense? And the way you teach this is by deliberately practicing changing your energy. Changing your energy from, I'm asking you to move, my life is up, move, move, move. My energy is down, we breathe out, we relax, maybe point our belly button away from them, and we switch to some sort of confidence building thing. Now, the idea, so I've done this now with one thing, yielding the hindquarters and then rubbing him here, but we could do it with another one. You know, I could maybe release him. So you can see where, like, let's see how he got goosey by me just trying to have my hand on his withers. Right? Can you guys see that? So again, I'm going to bring my life up, and I could push him around here a little bit. Push him around. And I'm going to choose to push him around on this side until he starts to wear the pressure a little bit. Meaning he stops moving so fast. So you guys say now when you see him choose to slow down a little bit. And go, wait a minute, do I have to keep moving? Almost. There. You guys see the hesitation there? He was still stepping, but he chose to hesitate. So now the pattern is, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to spend more time on his left side. I'm starting at his head. And I'm going to hang out back here until he can accept me just being back here a little bit. So this is another thing that comes up frequently with these horses, is we spend a lot of time around their head and neck, especially the front of their head. And we need them to get more comfortable with us behind the halter too, by their neck, by their shoulder. And so I'm gonna wait for a change here. Now, the reason I tug on him there when he goes to leave is those are blocks, because he's choosing to kind of escape that position a bit. And I'm allowing him plenty of drift, but when it gets a little more committed to that, I'm just going to block him there and just give a tug on it to make it a little bit more of an uncomfortable thought. Oh, you don't always have to leave. And I'm just asking him to challenge the process of just drifting around me and leaving and choosing to maybe try to get comfortable with this position. There, he made a change. So I don't have a pattern yet, I have one time. I yielded his hindquarters one time and I pet him here one time. Do you guys remember that Mustang taming that was in Reno that a bunch of us did with Pat? You guys remember watching that? The Mustang that I had, I was trying to get back to getting on her bareback, and she kept turning her head like this all the way around. She wouldn't move her feet. She'd look at me like all the way around. And I thought, oh, that's cute. Like, she loves to keep me in two eyes. Like, oh, this is so nice. And then I realized I couldn't get past here because she was actually blocking me, and she was keeping me in zone 1 by her nose. Does that make sense? Once I realized that that's what was happening, then I was able to go, oh, I see what you're doing. So then I had to start asking her to keep her head straight and accept me being here more. And then I started having some more progress with that. So let's try this again. So I'm going to drive her on this side. Drive, drive, drive. Drive, drive, drive. Again, I'm waiting for those feet to look a little sticky. That's my timing of when I might stop doing this. So I'm not just going to go, oh, he moved his hindquarters, thank you, and then stop right away. I want him to think about stopping, because for this particular horse, it's easier there. See, he kind of wore it there. So that's when I'll stop, I'll rub here, and then I come back in here. So we got to here a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, and I'm even further back. Now I'm back by his withers. So it doesn't matter to me what your pattern is, but if there's a position, a confidence area, somewhere that you'd really like to be at with them, I want you to see if you can set it up to where you're asking them to move their feet and then you're releasing them to being in the position you want, making a little bit more of a pattern out of it. Does that make sense? And then the life up and life down is part of that process of life up, move, 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 life down. Now this is me petting you, and whenever I have my life down, reach in for this, you know, no big deal. But it's like the more you can release them to that, the sweeter they'll get on those things. Make sense, everybody? Okay, now I got one more thing I'd like to show you. When I was moving my swinging the rope at him, I was intentionally trying to bother him a little bit with that. Okay, I wasn't trying to do that in a way that was like, oh, just as soft as I can, get a hindquarter yield. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to like bring my life up, move, without really touching him. Okay, and so what I'm pointing out is there's levels within building their confidence. Okay, so if the stick was something, if I go, okay, this is a tool that I want to be able to touch him all over with, and I want him to be completely okay with that. I might show it to his nose like this. I might let him smell it. I might walk backwards with it. Okay, I'm gonna approach really slowly. So this is like what you would do with like maybe fly spray, a fly mask, a saddle pad, your hand with haltering him in the haltering position, that sort of thing. Okay, so take your time, approach and retreat, go slow. But now, when I use this tool, and this is what brought up this little demonstration, is I was telling Kim that when I hand you this to use, my goal isn't to go, what can I do to get him comfortable with this new tool? And how slow can I go with it? That's not the reason I'm using the flag. The reason I'm using the flag is, maybe we should write life. This is like the flag of life, right? Where it's like, I want this to represent things happening that aren't in your control. Somebody else in the realm pit next to you made a little ruckus. The wind picked up, the horse drove by, the tractor came over, the tarp blew on the hay, something happened that you had no control over and it scared your horse. This is what I'm trying to get them a little bit used to with the flag. Again, I'm trying to put it to him in a palatable frame. So I could, if I thought the flag was too hard, I could tie it in a knot. I can make it just a little bit easier. Okay. I'm not trying to over challenge the horse with it, but I am trying to have some exposure with it. Does that make sense, everybody? I'm not going, can I just touch you with this flag and have you be okay with it? Do you guys understand the difference? Okay, so let me show you what that would look like a bit. So if I'm trying to expose him with it, what I'm trying to do is get him to go, hey, could you read my energy? My energy is calm, but this flag is noisy. He settles. Okay. And I could do this also in motion. I could put him on a circle. I could flag him a little bit here. And I'm going to keep flagging him until he starts to wear the pressure a little bit. So my energy is asking him to walk. The flag is being really annoying. And this I've always struggled to teach this lesson because it's I don't know, it seems complicated. But what I'm trying to do is to get him to read me. It's like, yes, I'm asking you to walk. Ooh, I like that. I like that. So my energy, in my mind, I'm thinking, let's just walk, no big deal. You can hear it in my voice, I'm calm. But the flag is being really obnoxious. Okay, and I want him to just get comfortable with that flag being there and being like a outside stimulus and go, hey, you don't have to worry about the flag. Just worry about what I'm doing in my energy. So he's still worried about my energy a little bit, or the flag, sorry. Now I want to breathe out. I'm going to ask him to come down to a halt, energy down, and now I'll stop. So I didn't tell him to, as soon as I started moving the flag, it didn't mean go run off like crazy. But when he stopped, it didn't mean the flag was going to disappear quickly either. It was about my energy, not about the flag. The flag is an outside circumstance that could mess with him a little bit. Did you guys get that, or is it weird? It's a little bit weird, but that's the premise. So again, flag's being noisy, but my energy is relaxed, so he's okay with this. So what your kind of job to do is figure out achievable ways to do some exposure with your horses. Okay, nothing too much, and it's also got to be within your skill set. I might expose them more than Coulter's going to expose them, or vice versa. It's like you got to make those choices of what's comfortable for you. And then part two is make sure you're doing it with a pattern. So using your life up, life down, and make sure you're also make sure the horse is following your pattern, not you're following their pattern, because they're easy to get into patterns. And if we end up following them too much, that's when we got to up the ante a little bit more, or we got to block them, or we got to do something different. Okay, questions, comments, concerns, confusions, requests?